しれない。まっすぐならへんな、俺な。こういう感じ。どうですか？おみんな笑ってる人いる。あれ？ Good morning! 誰か間違えたか思ってる人がいるかな。
そうそう、違う番組。
ほんまやな。
This is still the marathon.
Buongiorno!
Good morning from Italy.
Buongiorno! おはよう。今日は忍者。手裏剣やな。すごいね。So, we will tell you the reason why we wear this clothing. ね。Why we are ninja. ね。はい。もう始める？もうそろそろ行く？うん。
Okay, so hello everyone again. Today we look a bit different. I think you can notice. We will explain everything shortly, but again, welcome and good to see everyone. And today we have an exciting day again. We are spending it in Shiga.
Yay! Yay! 取っちゃう？この手がおもろい。海の人。やばいな。Yeah.
Okay, so Shiga. So short introduction of the marathon and the region, and then we taste a lot of exciting teas.
素晴らしい。そうなんですよ。Shiga is to tell the truth. Ninja place ね。
Okay, so thank you for coming back to the Japanese Tea Marathon, organized by the Japanese Tea Central Council and our association. And we have such a unique opportunity to meet all the tea producers. Today we are super lucky to have Hattori-san with us here in our stage. He comes from Shiga, so very close riding distance. And we are tasting all of the wonderful teas. Today we have two also made by Hattori-san, so we will come back to them in a moment. And we do that while we travel through all the tea regions. We spend a lot of time in Kyushu, one day in Shikoku Island, and now the rest of the time in Honshu Island. And what we saw so far, or what we saw yesterday, was Nara Prefecture. So there we visited an area called Tsukigase and talked with Iwata-san, who told us about organic farming style and introduced two of his teas, organic hojicha and organic sencha and organic hojicha. And today we have our next stop, Shiga! Yay.
So actually, Shiga and Kyoto is really close. And his tea region is next to Wazuka, so only 15 minutes drive for the distance. His tea region, Asamiya, and here, Wazuka. So today he came to here in person ですね。Thank you so much. ありがとうございます。
こちらこそありがとうございます。
もう、and historically, Asamiya and here is strong relationship. So, いける？はい、じゃあ行きましょう。
Okay, so today we are learning about Shiga, really beautiful place. Let's see what the prefecture is like and the tea. So finding Shiga right in the middle of Japan. And Shiga is known as the belly button of Japan. It doesn't have sea area, but it has a really big lake. So what we are seeing now is the lake Biwako. It's ginormous, the largest in Japan. And Shiga existed for a long time. So by the lake, people are some of the Stone Age people are thought to have already lived in this area. And for a very brief time, in late 600s, Otsu area became the capital of Japan, but just for 5 years, and then it was moved. But already at that time, there was the recognition of the importance of the region as the center of Japan. And another interesting case is Azuchi Castle that no longer exists, so there are only ruins. This is probably a replica. And it was created by Oda Nobunaga, so one of the very famous war leaders, generals in Japan. So towards the end of the warring state period, transitioning to the peacetime, he built the castle, wanting to move the capital there. But he himself died before that time, and the castle then was destroyed as well.
で、信長 also really like tea, ね。And he spread it out the sado tea ceremony in Japan, almost at the beginning.
Important. And Shiga is at a lot of crossroads. So the first national route, number 1, passes through Shiga that connects Osaka and Tokyo. So this is a very important line, and it passes through Shiga, as well as the Tokaido Shinkansen. So the rapid train, again connecting Osaka and Tokyo, passes and stops in Shiga. And also quite important because of this being kind of at the crossroads in the middle of the traveling routes, Shiga was also famous for merchants, Omi merchants, who would be carrying goods again into the Edo at that time, so the old name of Tokyo. And the result of that is that there are a lot of large corporations originating in Shiga. So Takashimaya, Sumitomo Corporation, Itochu, all of these companies, they had their start in Shiga. So this is a quite important place, both historically but also today. Okay, so, see the tea?
OK で、これね、変わろっか、席をこうね。はい。じゃあ、T in シガーですね。はい。よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。服部さんもどんどんちょっと、了解お願いします。はい。はい。で、ね、You've seen a lot of time. This is the 140 years tea cultivation graph. ですね。シガ at the beginning は、6th ね。800 tea production ね。And it starts the graph 始まらへんな。あれ終わっちゃった。ちょっと待ってよ。はい。じゃあ、来ましたね。シガ is green color ね。So during this 140 years Shiga's production is not rapidly increased. So the tea region in Shiga is a bit mountainside originally. So the production amount was not different, changed so much. And now is 14, 500 ton annually. And Shiga is also one of the oldest tea region. So Saicho, he is the one of most famous monk in Japan. He built the Enryakuji in Shiga Prefecture, the between Kyoto and Shiga, and in 8th century. And he also learned Buddhism in China, and he brought back tea seed to Shiga Prefecture. This is the shrine, but inside the red area, there is a tea field. This is the oldest tea field in Shiga. It is said that it is started 8th century. ここにあれですよね。服部さんも、この畑の管理とかも
そうですね。できたお茶を奉納したりとか、ここの茶畑の管理を、何年かおきに担当させて。
So Hattori-san brings his tea to this temple, and also he looks after this little tea farm area inside the temple.
ね、そうだから、so 8th century means almost 300 and 400 years before Eisai brought back tea seed. So, but there is no enough evidence. Okay, and also Emperor Saga, he drank tea in 815. So at that period, the Shiga, Otsu city, was the capital city in Japan. So he was there and he drank tea. And the Japanese old book, the Nihon Koki, said that he drank tea and he ordered to spread to propagate tea tree in Kansai region. Okay. And tea region in Shiga. So Mandokoro and Tsuchiyama and Asamiya is place. Is tea region in Shiga. So south east side of Shiga is tea region. So it's next to Mie Prefecture and Shiga Kyoto Prefecture ですね。で、それで This is 土山ですね。土山 area is bit flat area.
で、機械に乗って、
乗用積載機で。
がメインですね。
So, because Tsuchiyama is a little bit flatter, it's possible to use the driven machine for harvesting.
マンドコロですね。
ここはね、手で積んだりとか。
And this area is known for hand picking. So look at the bushes; they don't look in straight lines.
これ在来が多いってよく聞きますよね、マンドコロは。
そうですね。あまり植え替えはすることがないって聞きますね。
We hear that in Mandokoro they don't replant the bushes so much, so mostly zairai and quite old bushes.
Some of tea tree is over 300 years old, they said. ごめんなさい、これでアサミヤですね。はい。This is
My
farm.
My farm.
見えますか？茶畑。
見えます。
ここにあるもんね。朝宮は山なんですよね。
そうそう。山の急な斜面のところにあるので、あまり乗って管理することができないですね。
So much more mountainous area, Asamiya. You can see quite steeper slopes, and that's why they cannot use the driven machines.
これ標高ってどのぐらいとかってあるんですか
？400メートルぐらい。
結構高い。
The elevation about 400 meters.
すごいね。で、昇竜園 is his farm, 服部さん's farm. It is also in Shiga Prefecture, Koka City, Asamiya area, and its mountainside and almost border of Kyoto, and Koka City ですね。There. So, Asamiya cha ですね。The tea is famous as Asamiya cha. And also, this place is famous as pottery area, Shigaraki yaki ですね。
We have a guest today.
Have you ever seen this? This is raccoon ですね。
もう縁起物ですね。家にあると幸せを呼んでくるみたいな。
It is for luck. If you have it at home, it will bring you happiness.
そうだね。Look so happy ですね。
まあ、ある意味、まあ、日本で一番有名と言ってもいいかもしれないですね。
そうですよね。
どこでもあると思う。
It's really famous in Japan. You can see it all around.
そうね。In Shigaraki pottery area, so there is a more, how to say, more million of raccoons ね。
だからもう
Huge one, small one.
同じぐらいだからこういう教室も作ってる感じだよね。
ああ、そうかそうか。
So the area is Shigaraki is a famous pottery area. So they make these raccoons, but also teaware.
うん。これ、出てくるやつ。ここに出てきましたね。はい。コーヒーですね。これ、ちょっと説明してくださいよ。Please explain this.
これですか？後でまあまあ。
これね、it has four spouts ね。もう、it's really interesting ね。it's ホーヒン、まあ、or 絞り出しですね。So, もう、later, he will explain it ね。Okay, and, this ですね。甲賀忍者ね。
ですウェア。
はい、この、忍者クロッティングですね。costume ね。So, Koka is really famous as ninja. So, in Japan, there is two famous ninja group. One is Koga here, his town, and the other is Iga. Both next to each other, and they were working in warrior period. Around more, 400 to 500 years ago ですね。ですよね。4、500年前ぐらい。
1600年ぐらいだ。まあそうですね。
400年前。
400年か。まあそうですね。
400 years ago ね。そうだ、信長 's era ですね。
信長とか、江戸時代のまあ前のぐらいの話。
そういうことですよね。So, they are, まあ、スパイって言っていいんですよね、これ。
スパイとか、まあ裏方ですね。
Yeah. So I'm sure you know ninja, so we don't need to explain too much. But they were like Japanese spies, like working in the background, in the backstage.
情報収集とか、あとはまあ薬とか、あとはまあ変装して、まあ要するにスパイですね。
They produce lots of medicine. So we wear today ninja. Okay. This is first time for me and Shimona too. Okay, and Shoryuan. So this is his firm. So today's main guest, Akihiro Hattori-san. Yeah, Akihiko か。Akihiko Hattori ですね。すいません、Akihiro はうちのオウですね。Started in at least Meiji era 100 years ago. And their tea field size is 2.5 hectares. And the farming method was conventional 85% and organic 15%. Tea cultivar was Yabukita 90%, almost all. And some 在来ですね。この2種類ですね。OK ですね。Today, we will focus on the Yabukita. Okay, so he is producing only non-shaded sencha. This is the most traditional tea in Japan, except for matcha. これ、露地の煎茶をずっと作ってあるんですよね。
そうです。
うん
全く覆いをかぶさず、
うん
ずっとかぶせも天然、そのまま自然のまま作っている感じです。
うん。
So they're not shading, they are growing all open to the sun.
and こう、浅蒸しなんですね。and
そうです
lighter steam ですね。
とても短く蒸して、匂いの特徴のあるものを目指して作っています。
So Hattori-san focuses on the aroma and growing it in a non-shaded way, steaming lightly helps to have nice tea aroma.
うんですね。こう、this is almost hand rolling tea ね。手もみのお茶とかです
まあね、そういうお茶を目指して、まあ機械操作して作ってます。
Hattori-san kind of has a goal of a hand roll tea, but making it using machines.
ね。So this is really orthodox style ですね。はい。で、ヤブキタですね。これヤブキタの新名ですよね。
新名ですファーストフラッシュ。
First flush, the new shoots of Yabukita.
で、this is the first Yabukita plant, bred in 1908 ね、in 静岡。So, まあ、around 100 years ago, Yabukita was breeding in 静岡 by 彦三郎杉山ね。He is private tea breeder. He bred over 100 kinds of cultivars. And he bred Yabukita. And also in his, how to say, northern part of bamboo bush. And the other side, he bred Yabu Minami. That means, the other side, ね。So, southern part of bamboo bush で、ヤブミナミね。It means north ヤブ北 and south ヤブミナミ。And ヤブ北was best cultivar for him. And he became so famous breeder ですね。And Yabukita was registered as a cultivar in 1953. It spread through the whole of Japan ですね。これぐらいの時に、ヤブキタはもう、明治ぐらい、100年ぐらい前にできたけど、めっちゃ普及したのはこのぐらいになってからですよね。
そうですね。で、まあ、とても、寒さ、病気とかにはすごい弱いんですけど、すごい品質が良くて、で、まあ、寒さにも強いので、まあ、全国的に広がったと思うんですけれども。
So Yabukita is known to be a little bit weak against diseases, but the tea quality is very high. And also it's quite strong against cold temperatures, against frost. So around this time it started to really spread around Japan.
ちなみになんかこう、ヤブキタは、全国どこで植えても、なんかこう、味とかがあんまり変わらへんかったっていうのも良さの一つや、みたいな感じで聞いたことあるんですけど、そんな感じします？
いや、それぞれの地域で作り方によって変わってくるし、生産者が変われば味は変わると思うんですけど、まあ、ただ、木自体は、温度的には栽培可能やっていう。
広くってことね、日本に合ってるってことね。
The cultivar Yabukita is quite easy to spread around Japan because the temperature is quite good, so it can grow anywhere.
まあ、ただまあ在来に比べたら多分安定はしてるっていう意味で広く作れやすいんです。
そうですね。
And if we compare it with Zairai, it's quite easy to grow it very stably.
So, currently, 75% of Japanese tea field are Yabukita ですね。So you can see this graph ね。So, 75% of Japanese tea field are covered by Yabukita. So other variety is getting increasing, but still Yabukita is the king of Japanese tea ね。はいですね。これ、朝宮やったらもっとパーセンテージが高いんですよね、きっと。
もっと高いです。他の産地とかは、まあ、新しいものとか、もっともっと品種改良されたものを植えて、生かれることが多いんですけど、朝宮の場合は、買うお茶屋さんとか、仕入れるお茶屋さんとかからも、やっぱり朝宮はヤブキタが品質いいので、ヤブキタお願いしますっていうので、新しく植え替えても、やっぱりヤブキタからヤブキタへ植え替えることが多いです。
So in Asamiya, the region of Hattori-san, Yabukita percentage is even higher than that. In many other tea regions, when the tea farmers are replanting the tea, they are choosing some other cultivars. Now there are so many other cultivars, but in Asamiya, the tea buyers, they know that the region is famous for Yabukita. So when the tea farmers are replanting, even the buyers are asking to plant Yabukita. So even if the time of replanting comes, the farmers continue planting Yabukita.
Oh my god, また後で聞きましょう。もっと聞きたいことができちゃった。はい。And his tea field is in mountainside, so the harvest by handheld harvesting machine ですね。これもう 100% 僕の手刈りやつですね。
手刈りですね。
All of his fields are done with a handheld machine.
二人の呼吸を合わせてやらないとずれちゃいます。
So the two people have to align together to cut it well.
大事ですね。喧嘩したらかもね。で、this is his fur ね。And the fresh leaf like this. And this is inside of his fur ね。So the first process is steaming, steamed by this steamer, and usually ですよね。これもですよね。朝蒸しなんですよね。
すごく短い30秒ぐらいの蒸し時間。なので形がしっかり残ってる。
The steaming is really short, just about 30 seconds, so the tea leaves keep full shape. You can see later when we taste it.
After steaming the tea leaves like this, ね、it's the opposite side of 深蒸し deeper steam ね。これめっちゃ茶葉の形がきれいに残る蒸し加減って感じなんですね。
そうですね。はい。まあ、逆に言えば多くの地域が今深蒸しが多いんですけど、まあ関西特に朝宮とか京都とか奈良とかではこういう朝に蒸しが多いと思う。
There are in many tea regions around Japan, fukamushi, deep steam tea is now the major kind, but in Kansai, around us and Asamiya, asamushi is the main method.
いいですよね。かぶせないで蒸しも朝。
そうですね。かぶせることなく、天然そのまま育ったままを作るっていう。その代わりすごく収穫時期が限られてくるので難しいです。
So Hattori-san is not shading the tea and steaming it lightly to get a very nice aroma of the tea, but it becomes a little bit hard with harvesting timing.
すごい。で、これが、this is soft rolling machine ね。There is two soft rolling machine and 送風機の話もおもろいですよね。So the connecting steamer to soft rolling machine usually use conveyor belt, but his way is use the wind power. So the tea leaves fly into next machine. So this way is bit older style, traditional way ですね。
まああれで風で飛ばすことで熱をずっとっていう作業を
冷ますことにもなるってことですよね。
And it has an additional benefit because when you blow the leaves by air, the temperature of the leaves is also cooled down.
これも深蒸しでやっぱできないんでしょうね、きっと。
深蒸しやできないかどうかはわからないですけど、詰まりやすいかもしれませんね。
そうですよね。
かもですよ。
やったことないって感じね。
This method might be hard for fukamushi. We don't know, but we imagine that it's probably much easier for the leaves to get stuck if they are more deeply steamed.
深蒸しだったら蒸し器も違いますしね。
どこ？
深蒸しは蒸し器も違います。
そうですよね。 And also, sorry, this is the soft rolling machine. After that, the tea leaves shape is like this. But you can see the tea leaves still origin shape. So it's become bit このなんていうのこの
よじれってやつ。
そうtwist, but the size is still big これが浅虫の特徴って
そうですね。さっきも虫のところでもあったように、まあ、あまりたくさんの水分を与えてないので、ボロボロになりにくい、砕けにくいっていうと、代わりに、しっかり、まあ、芯が残るというか、針になるっていうか、水に足したら葉っぱそのまま残ってくるような
ってことですよね。
The main feature of the light steaming is that it doesn't break up the leaves so much compared to deep steaming, so the leaves keep their full shape. And at this point, they are kind of twisted into very thin, long needles, but when you brew and they open up, you can see the leaves again.
はい、ちょっと。そうですね。これが strong rolling machine ね。Even after strong rolling machine, the tea leaves shape is like this よね。ここでも本当にまだ形が残ってますよね。And middle rolling machine. And finally, fine rolling machine ですね。成重機。で、the leaf become needle shape ですね。この成重機でまっすぐ伸ばしていくっていう。
これはまだ、さっきですね、ちょっと曲がってるやつですね。これからまだまっすぐしていく。
So this is the straightening process, straightening machine, and now we can still see the leaves are slightly bent, so once it goes through the whole process, it will become very straight needle.
で、dryer. で、after that, the tea become like this ね。Really thin, straight needle shape.
まあ、ここでも形はしっかり残ってるっていうので、まあ、はっきり、深虫じゃないっていうのは分かってもらえると思うんですけど。
And when you look at the tea leaves at this point, you can know that this is lighter steam, not deeper steam, because they keep their shape.
はい。ね。で、浅虫煎茶。ね。で、ちょっと、そう、こっちから見ながらな。あ、いいよ、さん。Let's watch the movie ですね。Okay. はい。はい。もう一回押さえます。はい。Okay. This is his firm. So, Yabukita already. Harvest by the handheld harvesting machine.
It's only 8 months ago he was holding your hand, slow dancing and kissing the top of your head.
And the period, the shooting, the movie is middle of May. 16th of May, and this is abundant tea field. So a little bit increasing the abundant tea field too in this area. And the handheld machine harvests half of tea bush at once, and we need to back and forth for harvesting. So after harvest, we need to bring the tea bag onto the truck, and the truck goes back to the factory. The day is bit day before it's rainy day. This is fresh leaf container, and bring tea leaves by hand. 全部手で運んでますね。This is scaled away. And this is the tea leaf supplier machine. And first process is steaming. For the lighter steam, the steaming period is only around 30 seconds. And blow tea leaves into next machine. And これ30分ぐらいでしたっけ？
これは40分。
40 minutes later, tea leaf become like this. And each batch he cleaning up the machine. And strong rolling machine take out the tea leaves from the bottom. And next machine is middle rolling machine. This machine create the shape and untangle the tea leaves. And bring tea leaves by hand. And final process is fine rolling machine. This machine creates the needle shape. これも40分ぐらいですね。30 to 40 minutes later, the tea become like this. And bring tea leaves by hand. And next, dryer. Drying tea leaves. This is the final process. これも3、40分ですね。これ1時間ぐらい。
いや、これは20分ぐらい。
20 minutes later, the tea leaves came out, and this aracha. Today's open field century. This is genmaicha tea leaves. So both made from same tea. He brewed tea for me in the factory just after processing. Yeah. 美味しそうですね。これね。
あの時そう美味しかったですよね。
ねえ、美味しかったもんね。うん。服部さん。
はい。
じゃあお茶飲んじゃいますか。
あ、
Let's brew tea.
入れましょうか。準備はいいですか？
すごいね。
まず、いいですか？
まず、じゃあお茶っ葉ちょっと見せて紹介してあげてもらえません？
はい。
スポットライトを変える。これか、こっち？出せばいいよな。いいですか？いいですよ、どうぞ。
まずこの煎茶いきましょうか。浅蒸し煎茶。お願いします。
So this is the light steamed asamushi sencha.
お茶の特徴とかもしよかったらね、ちょっと話してあげてもらって。
はい。
この形がね、本当に。
こっち見えるのかな？ここでいいですか？
この手前で大丈夫です
か？先ほども喋った通り、やっぱり形がしっかり残ってますけども、大きいです。
So you can see the result that the tea leaves are really large.
映ってます？
あれ？映ってるな。ごめんなさい。これですね。
はい。
いいじゃん、いいじゃん。これでいいですか？
なんで、長いです。だからその分、後で喋りますけども、ここの、急須に入ってる時間はちょっと長めかもしれません。
So actually I said large, but they are long, very thin and long. And because of that, the time will be just a bit longer for brewing.
これ、荒茶なんですよね。
荒茶です。ふりもかけず、火入れもしていませんので、少し青っぽく感じるかもしれません。
And this is aracha, so there was no sorting, there was no firing.
No cutting.
No cutting, no blending. So this is going to be a bit greener, fresher taste.
これがヤブキタなんですよね。
ヤブキタです。
We talked a lot about yabukita. This is yabukita kulsa.
で、今日飲んでいただくこのヤブキタのお茶は、僕が今作ってるお茶の茶畑で、昔に、地域の先輩が、直接、ヤブキタの原木の木から挿し木の元を取りに行ったお茶です。
So this Yabukita is actually quite historic because Matsu-san showed you in the presentation the original Yabukita plant, the one that was selected by Hikosaburo Sugiyama. The neighbors of Hattori-san, they went to Shizuoka and they took cuttings from that plant. So it's directly from the original plant.
これね。This is the photo you've seen ね。これですね。
で、まあ、切ってやって、取ってくるので、まあ、今のヤブギタは、まあ、いろんなところで普及してるんですけども、まあ、一番、まあ、元に近いから取ってるので、まあ、だからどうっていうこともないんですけど、一番近いっていう。
So now Yabukita is very widespread all around, and in some cases don't know exactly the root, but for this specific field and for the tea we are tasting today, it is directly related to the original Yabukita, branch taken from this tree.
違うんですよね。なんか。
まあ、地面とか、角度とか日当たりとかによって変わってくると思うんですけど、
茶畑の土とか、
変わってくると思うんですけども、個人的にはここの葉っぱの茶畑の葉っぱはすごく柔らかくて旨味も多いかなって思っています。
So even Yabukita itself can feel slightly different depending on the soil, on the angle that the field is grown on, and so on. But Hattori-san thinks that tea from the leaves of this field are a little bit softer.
ですね。すごいっすよね。これだって今、茶畑、長くなってますね。2単ぐらいあるのを、その、一本の枝から増やしはったっていうことですよね。きっと50年ぐらい前に。
多分何千本が取ってきて、それで植えたんですよね。
ああ、そういうことなんですね。
まあ、今は多分取りに行けないと思いますけど。また、天然記念物がしてもらった。
そう。
So at that time they probably took actually not one cutting but maybe several thousands of cuttings from this original plant. Now of course no one can do it. I think it is protected by now.
ね。はい。じゃあしたらすいません。長くなっちゃいましたね。お茶入れましょう。
はい。今日は、この香品に湯冷ましに湯飲み使います。
These are the teaware we are going to use today. So we are using hohin and yuzamashi and yunomi, the cup.
で、ちなみに余談ですけど、これは茶畑を植え替えたときに、うちの地面から出てきた粘土を使って作ってもらったオリジナルの茶器です。
And this set also has a special story. So it is made from tea soil. When Hattori-san was replanting the tea plants, he discovered that there was clay in his soil, and he took that clay and collaborated with a pottery artist to make this unique teaware.
それではちょっとお湯冷ましにお湯を入れて入れます。まず熱湯を入れてください。
So now we are preparing the water, starting with boiling water first and pouring it into water cooler.
すごいね。Tea soil。
で、熱湯をまず湯飲みに入れてきます。
はい。
So first of all, from Yuzamashi, the water cooler, we are going to pour it into the cups.
湯飲みに入れて少しお湯を冷ますと同時に茶器を温めるっていう作業。
And then we can both cool down the water and warm up the cups.
で、まあ純粋な煎茶なので、少し熱湯ではなくて温度を下げて入れると旨味が出やすくなります。今回はその入れ方で入れていきます。
So this is a very high grade sencha. So we are cooling down the water. We are not boiling it with. We are not using boiling water. So we are cooling it down to about 70 degrees.
で、まああまり熱湯で長いこと入れると渋みが出やすくなるので、ちょっと苦手な人も多いかもしれませんけども、旨味を出そうと思うと少し温度を下げて ちょっと長めの温度で置いておく。
So if you brew it with boiling water, the tea can become a little bit more astringent. So maybe if you don't like astringency so much, cooling down the water will give more umami and sweetness.
今でここの、湯飲みを温めて、こっちも温めて、お湯を何回も移し替えてるので、ここの温度はだいぶ下がってると思います。まあ、大体85、今70度前後ぐらいだと思います。
So now we moved the water around, we poured it in the cups and in the teapot and in the water cooler, so probably the water has cooled down to between 70 and 80 degrees Celsius.
それでは皆さん準備はいいですか？
Are you ready? Are you prepared?
葉っぱを入れますね。
はい。
We're starting by adding the leaves in the teapot.
息がすみません。
これちょっと香り嗅いでみたいですね。その状態で。
どうですか？
うん。
You can check the aroma.
甘い。うん。
ちょっと今、
Fresh
失敗しま
and
した。もう
sweet.
一回これ。
どうしたんですか？
いや、ここのタイムを測ろうと思った。
タイムを。
これで。
あ、それでやらなきゃいけないね。
だいたい5グラム入ってますね。
はい。
はい。
So you can see the special scale we are having. So Hattori-san is now measuring and checking that we had about 5 grams in the
だいた
packet.
いここからお湯入れて90秒ぐらい。
Once you pour the water on, it's going to be about 90 seconds.
ここにだいたい時間出てますけども。
And this special scale automatically starts calculating time once you pour the water on.
これどこで買えるんですか？台湾製か。そうかそうか言ってたね。そう、お願いします。It's Taiwanese product ね。
そして先ほど虫のところでも言いましたけど、深蒸しではなくて、ちゃんと形がしっかり残っているので、少し90秒長いかもしれませんけど、低い温度でゆっくり葉っぱが開いていく。ただ少し蓋をして蒸らした方がいいと思います。
はい。
So this is again asamushi, the light steam tea, and the leaves are quite large. So we are cooling down the water to 70 degrees, but we have to give a little bit of time, 90 seconds or so. Maybe it can be just a bit long, but we want to keep the lid closed while we wait.
でもしこういう湯冷ましがないよっていう方は、小さい器とかで他のお湯を移し替えて、代わりに湯冷ましの代わりに使っているのもありです。
And today we are using yuzamashi, the water cooler, but if you don't have such a utensil, you can use a cup or another utensil for cooling down the water.
ちょうど今1分30秒で1回確かめます。これはだいたい1分30秒ですけど、一度中身確認をしてください。葉っぱが6割ぐらいかな。半分ぐらい開いてるかどうか見てください。
So 90 seconds have passed and it would be about time to pour, but Hattori-san says to open the lid and check. He recommends to pour the tea out when the leaves are open about 60%.
そして一度入れてみてくださいね。僕はこれでいいと思うので入れてみます。
So looks good. We are going to start pouring.
で、蓋をして、順番に注ぎ分けます。こうやって均等に入れて、濃さを均等に。
And look at the brewing. So going a little bit in each cup, back and forth.
ちょっと多かったですね。ごめんなさい。ちょっとモリモリになっちゃった。
大丈夫ですよ。
大丈夫です。
多いの好きです。
皆さん上手に入ってますか？
How is your tea coming?
このお茶は何回も言いますけど、蒸しが浅いので、色はグリーンではなくて透明か黄色っぽい。
You can brew this tea several times, and because it is lightly steamed, it has this a little bit more yellowish golden color.
でここの最後の一滴落ちるまで絞り出してください。
Wait until the very last drop. Pour it all out.
絞り出すのは、このお茶に限らず、どのお茶も共通して出した方がいいと思います。
So this method, drawing until the last drop, is good for almost any tea.
で、葉っぱをオープンすると、
すごい。
ただ虫が浅いので、すごく火入れもしてませんので、すごく青っぽい、まあ悪く言えば草のような自然なフレッシュな匂いがすると。
So it's lightly steamed tea and no firing, so it has fresh green aroma, a little bit like green weeds, green grasses.
これは今この画面しか映ってないですね。
今、そうですね
そうですね。
乾杯に、はい、移りましょうか。じゃあ、乾杯のご発声を。
はい。
Okay.
それでは、いただきます。乾杯。いい
Okay.
ですか？
Yes.
乾杯。じゃあ、皆さんと。
乾
乾
杯。
杯。
これでね、います。
はい。
どうですか？
も
もしこれが少し、時間が長かったので、濃いと感じれば、少しお湯を足して薄めて自分なりの濃さに調整してください。
So if you feel this is a bit strong, you can adjust the brewing time when you make this tea.
少しこの顎の方に残る余韻があるかなという。
甘みがありますね。So, it has umami flavor.
マーティンからの感想。今まで飲んだ一番うまみの煎茶。
本当ですか？
すごい。
ありがとうございます。もう作ってて一番嬉しいことです。
I just translated some of your comments to Hattori-san that you said it was the most umami sencha you had, and he's very glad to hear that.
多分匂いとしては先ほど何回も言ってるみたいに火入れをしてないので、普通に出回ってる煎茶だともう少し香ばしい匂いがすると思いますけど、私は荒茶にこだわってるので、こういうフレッシュな匂いになると思います。
So when we compare this tea with other teas generally found in the market that go through the firing process, this tea has no firing. So that's why the aroma is a little bit lighter, a little bit greener.
でなんで荒茶になるかっていうと、オブブさんとかもね、京都の他の農家さんとかに比べるときも、農家同士では荒茶で僕のお茶こんなんだよ、私のお茶こんなんだよって比べるんですけども。
And this is aracha once again. So Hattori-san says that when the tea farmers make tea, aracha is what they drink and what they compare. So how is your tea? How is mine tea? So they are tasting and comparing aracha.
Aracha is pride of tea farmer.
でその荒茶で比べるのが全国大会とかありますけども、それでもやっぱり京都もそうだし、奈良もそうだけども、朝宮もやっぱりすごい品質が高いので毎回上位に行きます。
And aracha is also the tea that participates in competitions, and the lighter steam teas from this area, from Kansai, often take high prizes.
この露地で作るっていうのがやっぱり一番オーソドックスなスタンダードなやり方っていうことですもんね。
そうですね。昔ながらの、すごく天気には左右されやすいです。例えば雨が多い時とか、すごく太陽がたくさん出るタイミングとかにもよりますし、天候に左右されやすいんだけども、やっぱりそれにも変え難い匂いとか、味とかっていうのがあるので、私はそれを求めて作っています。
So the non-shaded tea maybe is a little bit sometimes hard to manage with the weather when there are sunny light days and there are some rainy days. But non-shaded tea is known for its stronger aroma, the more vibrant aroma. So that's why Hattori-san chooses to make non-shaded.
今だから露地とかかぶせをしないで、もう露地だけで作るっていうのはどちらかというと全国的にもとても珍しくて、だけど、なぜでもそれを作ってるのかって言われると、仕入れるお茶屋さんも含めて、すごい朝宮とかも関西の品質を求めて、ここのお茶はかぶさなくてもすごく品質が高いので、それが欲しい 需要があるからそれを求めていいものを作り続けている。
So around Japan and many other areas, a lot of tea farmers are shading their tea. So shading is very common, but in Asami and Hattori-san doesn't shade the tea. And the buyers that come to buy, they are asking for this tea. So even if they don't shade it, they get this kind of sweet, umami, naturally sweet and umami.
なので今だから主流というか多い深蒸しではない浅蒸しであってでかぶせをしない露地煎茶であるっていうので二重で少し
珍しいね。
一番スタンダード標準なんですけども
今や
ちょっと珍しいような感じになっています。
So this style of growing the tea open in the sun and light steaming used to be the standard, used to be the kind of main method, but now a lot of farmers have switched to shading and deeper steaming, so it's becoming a bit more rare in the last 20 years.
このね、露地煎茶の特徴としてはこの水色がね、金色透明ですかね、金色で透明であるっていうところなんですよね。
はい。
So the main feature of the light steaming is the appearance of the tea. The color is golden yellow, and the liquid is very transparent.
2戦目いっちゃいます？
入れましょうか。
じゃあ、Let's Brew Second。
2回目は、もうここに葉っぱに、乾いたところに水分がたくさん入っているので、熱湯で先ほどと同じ量をお湯注ぎますけども、時間は90秒ではないです。すぐ注ぎます。
So this time we are the second brew. The tea leaves are already in a lot of moisture from the first brew. So we are going to use the same water amount as before and hot water, so boiling water. But the brewing time is really short, so not 90 seconds, much shorter.
熱湯です。
So boiling water coming in.
もうすぐ注ぎます。
はい。
次は熱湯なので飲むときは注意してくださいね。
So boiling water, so watch out the temperature.
まだ15秒ぐらいしか入れてませんけども、入れちゃいます。
And only 15 seconds later we can pour it out.
で先ほどと同じように注ぐときは均等に注いでください。
And just like before, the pouring is the same, so a bit in each cup and back and forth.
1回目にたくさん旨味を出すような入れ方をしたので、2回目は少しその旨味は引いてさっぱりとした感じになります。
So in the first cup we had quite a lot of sweetness and umami, and now we are going to have a bit more fresh, lighter taste.
この入れ方で、3回、4回飲めますけども、次は少し長めに入れてくださいね。
This tea can be brewed quite a few times, 3 or 4. Next time, if you make the third cup, make the waiting time a bit longer.
で次の飲みも美味しく飲むためにも、やっぱり毎回水はしっかりと切ってください。
So the last drop is the most delicious. すごいですね、葉っぱが。
Look at the tea leaves.
この茶葉のね、本当に。何？
茶葉は少しカメラ近くに見せたら。So can you see how green the color is? いいですね。
ね、and the leaves ね、you can see the leaf
すごい
in there.
形はしっかり残ってますよね。
The shape still remain in teapot.
全然砕けてないです。
Not broken up.
これが浅蒸しですよね。
はい。
この水色もそうですよね。So the golden color is the feature of 浅蒸し。
どうですか？少し味が変わりましたか？
Do you feel the change of the taste in the second cup?
飲みやすくなってると思うんですけどね。
Maybe it should become a bit easier to drink compared with the first one.
香りが 強くなりますね。
あ、本当ですか。まあ、熱湯で入れるとね、味は。
When you brew with hotter water, the aroma becomes stronger.
5時ですね、気がつけば。
聞きたいこと来てますか？大丈夫ですか？
何を？
聞きたいこと来てますか？
まだ行きましょうか。したらそろそろね。
さっきもこんな感じですね。
はい、もういつもこんな感じでいっぱい来てますよ。
本当ですか？
そうっすよ。もうすごい量来てると思う。ちょっと待ってね。こっちか。
今何をするかだけ。クエスチョンチェック。
チェック。
例えば一つは販売するときに火入れ全く使えないですか？今回だけ火入れなしか、もう
全く全部。
So there was one question from you about firing hire, whether Hattori-san fires his tea before selling. He does not fire any of his teas, so all of them are this kind of more fresh, more green.
でも火入れをするともう少し香ばしくなって保存もしやすくなるんですけども、まあ、私はこの匂いが好きなのでこのようにしてるんですけど、その代わりすごい取り扱いはしづらいです。
So firing, of course, it adds to the aroma, makes it a little bit more roasty, mature, and it helps to store the tea a bit longer because the moisture is reduced. But Hattori-san really likes this aroma, this more fresh aroma, so he doesn't want to do the firing.
すごい質問が来てますね。ジュリエッテさん。フランスから、if they are all exclusively using Yabukita, isn't it difficult to harvest it all in the spring, as the plant will all shoot at the same time? ヤブキタだけやったら、収穫の時期が一時になっちゃうから、それを収穫するのが大変なんじゃないんですかっていう質問なんですけど。
はい。ちょっと長くなりそうですけど。
はい。大丈夫ですよ。
茶畑の場所も何箇所か、分けて何箇所かにあって。
何箇所あるんですか？
大きくは4箇所に分けてあって、で、肥料を投げるタイミングとか、あとこういう木を切っていくタイミングですね、ここにハサミでポチンって入れるタイミングを、秋とも春も、入れるタイミングをずらして、集客するようにしています。それで、今のところ私は面積が少ないので、一斉に出ることなくずらしながら、今のところできてます。
Very good question. So, again, just to repeat, if Hattori-san only grows Yabukita and they shoot at the same time, is it not hard to manage? But Hattori-san says even if it is all Yabukita, he has 4 different locations, so a little bit different maybe temperature and different environment. And also there are some management styles that can help to adjust the timing. So trimming in autumn or in spring, depending on the trimming time, the shooting will be different. And also the fertilizer, when you add the fertilizer into the soil, that can also impact the shooting time. So Hattori-san manages these kind of things to make sure that the tea shoots gradually but not all at once.
すごいですね。これはどれでいこうか。これじゃあ最初にちょっと面白い質問からいきましょうか。はい、スーさん、メルボルンから。はい、How come does 昇竜炎 has meaning of a fighter? 昇竜炎っていうのが昇竜拳っていう
これはストリートファイター
と関係あるんかみたいな。
いや、関係はないです。ただ、あれですかね、その時、うちのおじいさんの時に、まあ、正式に工場とか大きくして、もともとは田んぼと茶畑のしてる単純な農家だったんですけど、その時に工場を作って、
おじいさんの代。はい。
ただその時に、あれですかね、日本語なんで難しい、上り入れっていう、どんどん上昇していくぞっていう意味を込めて作ったと思うので、それとホイターは関係ないです。
So it seems a similar word is used in the street fighters, shoru, but it has nothing to do with that, Hattori-san tells us. So the history is that their family was in the old days was a farming family making rice and tea, and his grandfather built a factory, the first tea processing factory. So at that time, the feeling was that from now on we are going to go up to try more, and that's why they chose the word for their farm.
これがどんな感じ ?Dragon flying up to the sky って感じなんですかね。
ヨーロッパではどういう例えなんでしょうね。
どんな例えになるんでしょうね。
ポセイドンと
なんか、ヨーロッパのドラゴンってなんかこう、なんかあんま飛ばなそうですもんね。なんかね。うん。そうそうそう。ジャパニーズドラゴンか、チャイニーズドラゴンはなんか、
まあまあ、縁起がいいっていうか、幸運っていうか、まあね、なんていうかわかんないですけど。
ね。ドラゴン。はい。さてと、そしたら、じゃあ次の質問行ってみましょうか。ですね、こんな質問が来てますよ。マウリスさん、フランクフルトから。
はい。
How cold can it get in Shiga at his field? What are the lowest temperature he normally has at his field? 一番低い時の気温は、どのぐらいまで下がるんでしょうか？
まずこれは、滋賀で書いてますけども、滋賀も気温は低いですけど、滋賀の中でも私の住んでる地域は最も寒いです。なので、滋賀というよりは私の住んでる地域と思ってください。
So the question started with asking about Shiga. What is the coldest temperature in Shiga? Shiga, of course, is already a cold place, but we are now focusing on Asamiya, inside Shiga, that is even colder.
で、今はだいたい、最近寒くてもマイナス10度とか、
マイナス10度
?10 度。で、まあ、最近だとマイナス5度とか6度とか、最高ですよ。最高でマイナス10度ぐらいですけども、まあ、2度、3度、4度は当たり前で、昔、十何年前はオーロラが見えたことがあります。
オーロラ
それは新聞載ってます。大丈夫です。ちゃんと言っても大丈夫です。載ってます。事実なんで。見えたこともあります。
So the coldest temperature is about up to minus 10 or so, but usually it's maybe minus 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees. And last year they even saw aurora in Asamiya.
その代わり、2018年は、そのマイナス10度っていうのはまあ、数日だけで平均的にはマイナス5とか6が多いんですけども、10度がずっと続いてしまって、茶の木が霜焼けになったことがあります。2018年、だから、4年前か、3年前か。
So normally the average minus temperature is minus 5, minus 6 in winter, but there was a year in 2018 where for a long time it continued at minus 10, and actually this was too cold for the tea trees, so some of them have perished, died.
いいですね。じゃあ、これ次の質問いっちゃっていいですか？また全然違う角度ですけど、マリアーナさん、スウェーデンから。はい。Could you give an explanation on the interesting ホヒン、ラワンですね。
これですか？
はい。
これは、見えますかね？
はい。
こっちが4つあって、まあ今こういう風に葉っぱが、こういう風に水が流れて注いでるので、葉っぱが偏ります。
はい。ここでしたでしょ。
So now we are looking at a more usual hohin, and we can see that when we pour the tea leaves come closer to the spout, closer to the filter.
で次にやるときにこうやってこうトントントントンとしないと2回目が飲みにくいんですけども。
And then before the second brew, if you don't give it a shake and don't push the leaves back to the bottom, it's hard to pour the tea out.
これはこっちが4つあるので、傾いても、またこっちからお湯を入れて、こういう風に入れれるように、4回ぐらい角度変えれるように作られています。
And this special teapot has 4 spouts, so even with the first brew, when you pour the tea and the tea leaves get gathered and clustered around the spout, you still have 3 other spouts. So for the second and third brew and fourth brew, you can use another spout and easily pour out the tea. So with this teapot, you can easily make 4 brews.
もちろん、タヌキと同じ信楽焼きです。
And like the tanuki, the raccoon we showed you before, this is also made in Shigaraki, pottery town.
これは一人用なんですか？
これは一人で何回も飲めるように、日本茶は、今先ほどこちらも2回飲みましたけど、まあ何回も飲めるのが特徴で、まあ、一人で何回もこの大きいで飲むと、たくさん飲みすぎてしまったりとか、そんなにたくさん必要ないっていう方のために小さいのがあります。
And this teapot is intended for one person, so when you brew it only for yourself, this is a good size.
これ、じゃあこれを言っとこうか。それはいいですね。陶器をオンラインで買えますか？ソフィーさん、ベルジウムから。It's nice. Can we order the pottery online?
私は農家なので、陶器は販売はしていないですけど、紹介はできます。
So Hattori-san is a tea farmer, not a pottery artist. So he only shows you, but he doesn't sell it, but he can introduce the potter.
はいですね。じゃあこれ、リディアさんですね。ドイツから。Is this 煎茶 organic or conventional? っていうことで、これは観光栽培で作った煎茶ですか？それともオーガニックの煎茶ですか？っていうことなんですけど。
このお茶は、観光栽培のヤブキタの煎茶です。
The tea we are tasting today is produced conventionally.
ただ、最初、まあ、少しだけでしたけど、プロフィールのところにあったように、全体の 15% は有機栽培もしてます。両方作ってます。
But Hattori-san makes both styles, conventional and organic. Organic is about 15% of his production.
このオーガニックのお茶に比べると、このお茶の魅力っていうのはどんな感じですか？この味とか香りとかっていうところでいくと。
そうですね。まあ、オーガニックはオーガニックの良さがあるんですけども、まあ、観光栽培は、最近すごく天候が不安定で、もう気温が急に上がったり、気温が急に下がったりする時もあるんですけども、ある程度肥料とか、まあ、化学性肥料も含めて、バランスよく使うことで、うまく、栄養を吸収させて、うまい味に、自分の思い通りに作れるような。
イメージの味があるんですね。
So, talking about organic and conventional, and of course, Hattori-san says that organic has its own benefits, but recently we are experiencing the climate change and the temperatures can go really high up and low down, and he thinks that conventional way is easier to manage and easier to adjust to this kind of change by managing the fertilizer, giving nutrition to the tea.
それでもやっぱり天候は強いので、やっぱり思い通りにするっていうのが目標であって、なるべく近づけてあるけども、毎年その思い通りに作るのが目標ではあります。
And also, conventional way is easier to produce the tea as he intends, as his image is. So every year he really wants to make the tea as best as he can.
What fertilizer does he use? キンバリーさん、ヨークシャーからイギリスですね。はい。どんな肥料を使ってますか？
これですよね。
はい。
これは、細かいですけど、
はい。
ごめんなさい。有機質が70% 以上の有機と化学性肥料を混ぜたものと、化学肥料単体のものと、まあ、その有機質肥料のものをそれぞれ茶畑ごとに変えてます。
何回ぐらいあげてるんですか？ごめん。はい。
So, about the fertilizer, there are many different ways that Hattori-san uses. So there is a fertilizer where organic matter and chemical fertilizer mixed and combined together. There is only chemical fertilizer, and there is also only organic fertilizer. And depending on the tea field, depending on the timing, he uses all of them and adjusts.
基本はだから有機質のものをメインにそこに手助けするように化学性肥料を足してるみたいな感じですね。
Mainly he uses organic fertilizer and just adds a little bit of the conventional chemical fertilizer.
何回ぐらいやるんですかね
？5回ぐらい。
About 5 times a year he does the work of adding fertilizer.
すごいね。 これいいですね。改めてって感じですけど、ゴシアさん、ポーランドから。Why did 服部さん decide not to shave? なんでかぶせしないんですかみたい
それを多分先ほど言ったかもしれませんけども、私と住んでる地域のお茶自体が、売る方というか買う方というかね、お茶屋さんから対して、数少ない、かぶせをしない産地であって、なおかつ品質が高いので、それを求められてるから、そこのスペシャルなものを作っていくっていうことにこだわってる。それが求められてるから、もっともっといいものを作っていこうと思う。
The question about why Hattori-san does not shade his fields. So his region, Asamiya, is known for high quality tea, and the tea buyers, they are looking for this kind of high quality, unshaded, original, traditional tea. So they want to continue the way they have been doing and make really high quality tea.
ね。スタンダード。オーガニック。
スタンダード。もう、
オーソドックスですね。
もう、そのまま昔から作ってるままなんですけども、悪いようじゃなくて、他の産地が新しい品種だとか、かぶせ茶とか、いろんなものを作っていく中で、やっぱり、個人的に思ってるのは、やっぱり、品質がいいから残ってるのかなと、個人的には思ってますし、これからもこれをずっと守っていけたなと思ってます。
So in many other regions, the tea farmers are planting new cultivars, they're shading the tea, doing many of these things. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that, Hattori-san says, but he believes that the tea in his area in Asamiya remains because it is the high quality and people appreciate for that quality, and that's the tea he wants to continue making and to preserve it.
これ、ちょっとまた面白いんで、もうちょっと煎茶に行っちゃっていいですか？そう、マリエラさんですね。So, does Hattori-san sell it as aracha or does he fire first before it goes to the shop? 服部さんはもうこの荒茶で売ってはるのか、それとも売るときにはやっぱり火入れしてから売らはるんですかみたいな。
まず私が売り先は2種類あります。
はい。
一つは、お茶屋さんに売ってます。一つは、個人の人に売ってます。
So to answer that question about firing, we have to first explain that Hattori-san sells in two different ways. One is directly to tea shops, tea businesses, and the other one is directly to tea drinker, the consumer.
で、お茶屋さんに売ってる分に関しては、おそらくお茶屋さんが火入れをして、私の名前は出ずに売られています。
それはHattori-sanじゃなくて、
そうそう。
So in case of the tea shops that buy from Hattori-san, he sells to them as aracha, but those shops themselves, they might fire and then sell it as their product without giving Hattori-san's name.
個人的に、オンラインだとか、そういう来客があって売る場合に関しては、すべて自分の売ってるものに関しては火入れは全く行ってないです。
In the case where he sells directly to the tea lovers, tea drinkers, either through internet or through other connection, he does not use any fire at all.
素晴らしいですね。じゃもうちょっとだけ質問いいですか？もうなんかね、ちょっとあんまりにいっぱい来てるから、マリアナさんもう一回、question. Is this the most traditional way of making 煎茶っていう、もう確認みたいな話なんですけれど、もう今のこの路地の朝蒸しのお茶っていうのは最もトラディショナルなやり方なんでしょうか？
最も、伝統的な煎茶の製法だと思います。
これ純煎茶とか言うんですよね。
純というか、僕らはそれを普通のものだと思ってたので、
普通煎茶とも言うしってことだよね。
そうですね。ただずっともうそうやって見てきたので、新しいものを見たりとか、体験しに行ったりはしますけども、それでいいものができてるうちは、やっぱもうそれで守りながら、ただ知識は入れていく。
そりゃそうですよね。
Hattori-san, the tea he makes, the sencha he makes is kind of original, traditional, genuine, authentic in a way. And of course, he goes to other tea regions to study and to see what they are doing and learns from that. But he wants to keep this traditional way of making.
ね、もう、要はあれですよね。釜入り茶が、まあ、500年ぐらいにこう日本に入ってきて、ほんで、煎茶が、まあ、どのぐらい ?350 年ぐらい前に作られるようになって、それが隣の宇治俵ですもんね。
そうや
ね。で、100年前に、150年ぐらい前か、深蒸し茶が発明されて、この30年とか40年前に、このかぶせ茶ができるようになったってことですもんね。これいける？長い？なんで私、いやいや、下田に訳してもらおうかなと思ってさ。
We're just talking about the tea history and how it has transformed and changed.
So how tradition?
Where is the tradition? How long ago? So looking back at first, when the loose leaf tea entered Japan, it was done in pan frying method. So we saw this in Kyushu Island. We tasted some of the kamairicha. So that was the first loose leaf tea style about 400 years ago. And then about 300 years ago, we have a sencha, the steaming style. To start to appear, and about 150 years ago, roughly, we have the deep steam style to appear. And then lastly, about 30 years ago or so, the shading starts to spread out. So it's gradually changing and tweaking.
And also the steamed sencha was invented in our next town, 宇治俵ね, by 長谷宗園. So the tradition of this region is 浅蒸しの
もみですね。
そうですね、煎茶ですね。So lighter steam 煎茶ですね。So his family and he keeping this traditional way ですね。
で、まあ、その手もみが今の機械、手もみのやり方を機械が、操作、代わりにやってるので大量に作れるようになったんですけども、やっぱり、機械、ね、メモリだけで温度とか風とかやってても、機械が作るわけじゃなくて、人間が作るので、私はこの手で感覚を覚えるように毎回勉強しに手もみはしています。
And in the old days, tea was processed by hand rolling. Nowadays, of course, we have a factory with machinery that can process larger quantity of tea. But even in the factory, it's not machines that produce the tea. It is the tea farmer that adjusts the setting. And you cannot just remember the time and the temperature and just input it and leave it aside. You have to be there and you have to check it. And Hattori-san is continuously improving this knowledge through hand drawing practice. So he's training in the hand drawing, so he knows how the tea has to look and appear when he is making it in his factory.
なので、うちの工場はとても規模が小さくて、まあ、大型の生産ではなくて、本当に小さくて失敗はできないんですけど、すごく、なんていうか、慎重に大事に、子供のように、ちょっと取って、大事に手を入れながら、感覚を大事にして、お茶の葉っぱにしてます。
And we saw that his factory is quite small, so compared to other producing factories, the machines are quite small, and he has no space for making a mistake. So he is continuously kind of observing the leaves and being there while he's making them.
だから毎回失敗が怖いです。
But every time he's a little bit scared to make a mistake.
すごい神経使います。
So he is very much involved with full of his being into making the tea.
これ次また全然違う質問。ジェフリーさん、メルボルンですね。How many times a year can the tea be harvested? Once? Twice? More? 1年間に何回収穫しますか？
うちは3回。3回ですね。新茶、新茶だとの、
借り直しなんて言うんですか？
親子番茶。
親子番茶ね。
はい。で、2番茶。
2番茶。
3回。
3回。
How many times can the tea be harvested? So this is maybe depends a bit on location, but in case of Hattori-san, he says 3 times. So he's harvesting the first flush spring tea, then the bancha lower leaf, it's called karinaoshi, so you cut the lower leaf, and then in summer he harvests again second flush.
まだなんかいっぱい来てるんで、もうちょっとだけいいですか？
飲みながら。
飲みながらにする？
松本さん時間決めてもらっていいですよ。
いや、もう行きましょうか。じゃあ、
どうでもいいですよ。
なんか、まあいいか。いや、
また飲む時間なくなった。
わかりました。はい。じゃあ、Let's brew 玄米茶ね。Okay. So, we love question ね。そう、服部さんはもう、really, good person of answer ですね。そうだから、なんちゅうのもう、understandable words he used ね。はい、ちょっと待ってよ。何やるんだっけ？これか。これか。玄米茶やな。
So our next tea, we have not tried it on this journey yet, so we are our first time drinking genmaicha.
そうね。そう、玄米茶ね。I think you know this tea ね。It's famous and it's popular ね。
開けましょう。
はい。So this tea is mixture of rice and tea ね。The name is genmai. It means brown rice ね。But this material of rice is not brown rice ね。It's white rice ね。And after roasting, the brown rice, white rice become brown rice. So that's why the name genmaicha comes from ね。そうだから、なんていうんですかね。I also believed genmaicha made from brown rice ね。But it's not true ね。And also, in Japan, there is two big type of rice. One is regular rice for onigiri or for eating rice. And the other one is mochi rice. It's for the mochi and cake ですよね。mochi cake ですね。で、this genmaicha's genmai made from mochi rice ですね。はい。じゃあ、早速入れちゃいますか。
写真欲しい。
あ、これ写真が欲しい。OK。
なんかめっちゃ綺麗。
あ、そっか。You like this photo ね。Thank you so much. ありがとうございます。はい。じゃあ、したら入れましょうか。Let's brew 玄米茶。
開けてくださいね。
はい。
これの原料は、ぜひ説明ありますか？
いや、あんまりちゃんとしてないです。
これは、新茶の大柄な部分を今回特別にふるいにかけて取ったものと、先ほど松本さんの説明のあった玄米をブレンドしています。
So just explain how this tea was made. We are using larger leaves from spring harvest, slightly sorted out, so smaller leaves set aside, taking larger leaves and combining it with roasted rice.
なぜこの大きい葉っぱを使うかっていうのはちょっと入れて飲みながら喋りましょうか。
はい。
So we talk more about genmaicha while we drink. First, let's make it.
で今回は湯冷ましはしませんけれども、ちょっとポットが遠いのでこれを使いますけど、普段はこれを使いません。熱湯を入れてください。
So normally, Hattori-san suggests to make genmaicha with boiling water. You don't need to cool it down. Now our water kettle is a little bit far, so for the transfer he is using yuzamashi, but not for cooling down the water.
で今回は、こちらにある通り、8g この1袋入れてもらって、だいたい 120mg の熱湯で30秒ぐらい。
And as you can see in the leaflet in the explanation, we are using 8 grams from the packet, about 120 milliliters of water, boiling water, 100 degrees, and brewing time quite short, about 30 seconds.
So the 8 grams of tea leaves include 4 grams of tea leaves and 4 grams of brown rice. So roasted rice. So the total amount is big, but 8 gram, but the tea leaves side is only 4 gram.
で今回は熱湯をそのまま入れてください。
So this time, please use boiling water directly.
大体30秒ぐらいです。
And wait for 30 seconds.
熱湯なのでちょっとやけどとかに注意してください。
And because it's boiling water, watch out, it's a bit hot.
今回は130グラムミリ入れました。
So now maybe you can see or not, I don't know, it's upside down, but about 130 milliliters is inside our
大体
これ inside, outside だよね。
今はまあ24秒、25秒、大体30秒ぐらいで。
The time is ticking, so once we get to 30 seconds, we can pour it out.
で、蓋をして、注ぐときは先ほど同じように均等に注いでください。
And just like before, pour a little in each cup, back and forth.
入れます。これも濃さが均等になるように順番に入れていきます。
So we are doing this to distribute the flavor evenly among all the cups.
なぜ大きい葉っぱを使うかっていうのは多分飲んでみればわかると思うんですけども、ちょっと入れてから飲んでから喋りますね。
So once we try the tea itself, we can talk a little bit about the tea leaf in the mix.
すべての葉っぱに共通しているように水は最後まで切ってください。
So again, like before, take all the drops out from the teapot.
はい。beautiful.
もし準備ができたら同時に乾杯しましょう。
So if you're ready, or let's prepare to do the kanpai again.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。準備はいいですか？
Are you ready?
じゃあ乾杯。
バイ。じゃあ、
ます。玄米の香ばしさと、さっぱりとした飲み口が特徴ですごく日本人にも人気があります。
This tea is popular among Japanese people as well because it's a good balance between the richness and thickness from genmai and the lightness and refreshing notes from the tea.
でなぜこの大きな、ふるいにかけた部分を使うかっていうと、
And now to explain a bit more about the tea leaf used for this tea.
これが全部新芽だと仮定してから、ちょっと今木はありますけど、新芽だと思ってください。
So this is not a new shoot, but as an example, so please imagine this as a new shoot.
新茶の部分はこの部分。
So this part is the new tea, 新茶。
ですね。この部分の方がみずみずしくてとても栄養価が高くて美味しいです。
So that part of the tea leaf has a lot of moisture and a lot of taste, so very delicious.
で、映像を見逃したかもしれませんけども、ふるいにかけるとこういう大きな部分が取れます。
And when we use a filter, like we saw in the picture, we can separate and take out these larger leaves.
こっちの方が当分栄養価が高くて旨味が多いんですけども、こっちの方が少し旨味が下に行くほど少なくなるので、さっぱりとして飲みやすくなります。
The top part of the new shoot has more sweetness, more umami, and these lower leaves have a little bit less of that intensity, so they are a little bit lighter and a little bit easier to drink.
ただし新茶なので、やっぱり長いこと置いておくと渋みが出てきやすくなるので、短めの30秒。
But this is still Shincha fresh tea, so even if we brew it with hot temperature, it can become quite strong. So we want to cool. If we brew it for a long time, it can become quite strong. So we want to keep the time shorter.
ものすごく湯冷ましとか難しいことを気にせずに飲めるので、まあ、初めてお茶を飲む方とか日本人の中でも手軽に飲みやすくなっているので人気のお茶です。
And this tea is quite popular and because it is easy to brew. You don't have to cool down the water. You can use boiling water.
ね。2煎目も飲みます？
2煎目もいいですか？
入れましょうか。
2煎目ももう熱湯で入れます。
So we can make a second brew, and again we are going to use boiling water.
今回もちょっとポットが遠いのでこれを使いますけど、普段はもう直接入れてもらっても大丈夫です。
So again, we need to use amashi to bring the water to the teapot, but you don't need to use it to cool the water down.
ごめんなさい。はい。
はい。これもお湯の量は先ほどと変わらず120ぐらい、120か130で大体大丈夫です。細いですぐに入れる。
Water amount same as before, 120, 130 milliliters.
温度の方は本当にすぐにパッと蓋をして。
And this time we are pouring out very quickly, so no waiting, no steeping time, very short.
同じように注ぎ分けます。
And again, the same style of pouring a little.
玄米はとても香ばしいので、まあ、香ばしさは何回も残っていくと思いますね。
And genmai, the roasted rice, they have quite a strong, this kind of roasty, rich aroma, so it remains in all of the next brews as well.
とても渋みとかが少ないので、とてもいろんな人に飲みやすいお茶だと個人的には思っています。
And it has very little astringency, so it's good for many different people.
これをアイスにしても美味しいと思いますね。
アイス？
冷やして。
And it's also very good as cold tea, so after brewing, cooling it down.
素晴らしい。
量がちょうどいいですね。
飲みやすい。
さあ、飲みやすいね。
いただきます。ねえ。何の香りっていうの？こういうのは。
玄米ですね。
玄米の香りやけど、こ
う。なんか、抵抗がないですよね。僕らはあれですけど、皆さんどうかわかんないですけど。
そうね。なんか、roasted nuts とかね。ね。
やけどしないようにね。
sweet. Very smooth ね。almost no sharp bitterness ね。No astringency. So it's really easy to drink ね。And
roasted onigiri.
焼きおにぎりだって。
でも、焙煎してるんでね。まあ、すごいいい嗅覚を持ってあるから。でもまあ、さっきの煎茶と同じように、まあ、すごくスタンダードなお茶ですよね。
そうですよね。どうぞ。
So, similar to sencha we were tasting before, this is very standard, typical tea.
So, but as you know, so we have only one genmai cha in this Japanese tea marathon tea box. So actually, it's a little bit difficult to correct the genmai cha from tea producers. Because tea producer focus on tea leaf itself. So usually genmai cha is a bit lower grade of tea. So, but it's popular, especially in abroad. So we won't collect the tea, but nobody produced genmai cha except for 服部さんって感じでしたね。はい。でも、服部さんも普段は玄米茶作ってはらへんのでしたっけ？
普段作ってない。
昔は作ってはったんでしたっけ？
So nowadays, Hattori-san doesn't make genmai cha. He used to make it before, but now he doesn't, and he made it specially for for our
でも
event.
改めて飲むと美味しいですけどね。
ね。
It is delicious.
So, but it's really interesting ね。So, it is one of the difficult to find tea 玄米茶ね。そう
羽鳥さん、なんでやめましたか？昔作っ
いや、なんでというよりは、特に理由はないんですけど、まあ、煎茶と本茶と紅茶は
扱いが軽いよね。
人気のものが多いので、一人でやってるとすごくこうたくさん作ると。
チョイス的に。So I asked a difficult question why Hattori-san is not making genmaicha nowadays, and he says that he's producing all of these teas by himself. So he is one person doing all of this work, and he's making sencha is the main product, but also hojicha and wakocha, black tea, and all of them are very popular, and he just doesn't have enough hands to make all of them. So he chose to continue the ones that were the most popular.
すごいシンプル3種類しかないですけどね、煎茶と紅茶と紅茶しかないんですけど、まあ、フリーもかけないので、フリーかけないと出てこないので、だからフリーをしないから仕上げもしないし、入れもしないので、玄米茶はしなくなったという。
And usually he doesn't sort his tea, so if he doesn't sort, he doesn't have the leaves to make genmaicha. So that's how it kind of naturally faded out from his production.
ただ今回用があったらもう一回作るかもしれません。
But this time we asked, so he felt he wanted to try to make it again.
ねえ、この朝蒸しのお茶とほんま玄米とめっちゃ合うなと思うんですけどね。
We're thinking that the light steam tea works really well with rice. It's very good balance.
後味がめっちゃいいですね。
めっちゃいいですね。他のも皆さんまた感想で書いてみてください。
So especially the afternote taste is really good ね。はいですね。じゃあちょっとまだ質問に戻ってみましょうか。多分いっぱい来てるんやろうね。
A bit more time, we can look at your questions again.
これもいいですね。いいですね。じゃあさっきのこの煎茶って何回、これそれぞれ何回ずつ入れられると思いますか？煎茶と玄米茶は、あと違う、全部で。
煎茶はだから4回ぐらいはいけると思うんですけどね。まあだんだん、味は当然、持ってる葉っぱの力をどんどん使っていくので、増えることはなくて減っていくので、まあ味は濃くはならないと思いますけど、だんだん、浸す時間をちょっと長めにとっていって。
5回
4回、5回ぐらい。
5回ぐらい。
煎茶も
玄米茶はもうちょっと短いと思います。3回ぐらいと思います。
So how many times can we brew these teas? Hattori-san says that again, sencha is light steam tea, so it can be brewed quite a few times, maybe 4 or 5 times. With every brew, it will become just a little bit lighter, so you can extend the steeping time to make the steeping time longer, so to enjoy the taste. And for genmaicha, maybe up to 3 times.
そうですよね。さあ、茶器の話がまた出てきましたね。About teaware, the teapot is ホーヒン or 絞り出しっていう。
さっきもありましたね。
これ午前中もあった質問ですね。はい。
はいですね。
はい。これが、this is 絞り出し and ホーヒンね。
ホーヒンの中に絞り出しがあるんですよね。
多分なんかこれホーヒンって呼んでるんですよね。
ホーヒンの取っ手がないですね。こっちは取っ手がある。
This is a little bit a difficult question for us, so we are not the potters, but what we think so far is that the teapot that Hattori-san used for brewing sencha, it can be called both hohin and shibori dashi. And what we believe is that hohin is a larger category that includes shibori dashi inside.
こっちにはこういうなんか穴があるんですよね。こういう。
And the main difference now looking at Kyusu that Hattori-san holds is that it didn't have a handle, so the other teapot. And now when we look at the Kyusu is that it has also a handle and we can see the filter inside.
ですが、このホーヒンに関しては、関西私たちのような朝蒸しの 形のしっかりしたお茶じゃないと、こうやって外に出た時に、ここに粉が詰まりやすくなりますので、ちょっと注意してください。だから、朝蒸し専用みたいな感じかな。朝蒸しとか、紅茶とかで使える。
So what we noticed also is that this teapot, we call it hohin or shiboridashi, is more common in this area around us in Kansai. So Shiga, Kyoto, Nara, this area, not other areas. And we think the reason is that because it fits better light steam tea. If the tea is deep steamed, the particles are much smaller and it's easy for them to get stuck in that kind of indentation. And it's hard to pour out the tea. So yeah, it's a bit more suitable for light steam tea and a bit more popular in this region.
ただすごく、お手入れは簡単です。こっちよりは葉っぱが捨てやすいです。
And another good point about shiboridashi is that it's easy to take care of. So especially when cleaning it out, it's much easier compared to kyusu that has a bit of an edge.
皆さん忘れないで茶農家ですよ。私は陶器屋さんじゃないですよ。
But don't forget that Hattori-san is a tea farmer, not a potter.
でも私はこうやってお茶扱うことによってもっと茶器が好きになりましたけどね。
But because he's producing the tea, he also got more and more interested and started liking the teaware more and more.
地元にもね、こうやって友達も作ってるぐらい、お茶と陶器が近いところにいるので、とても幸せなものだと思います。
And the teaware is made in the region very close by, so it's like friends, tea and the teaware.
ね。これ、あれですよね。宝品とか絞り出しとかって、ほんまに関西ね、京都、奈良、滋賀ぐらいでしかあんま見ないですよね。深蒸しのエリアに行くとやっぱりなかなか使いにくいんやろうな。
深蒸しは網が多いですね、イメージとしてね。
So we are just talking again about the different teapots and light and deep steaming. We don't really see the shiboridashi in deep steamed tea areas. They use more like metallic filter that has finer mesh to release the tea.
ですね。これ、あれね、玄米茶酢、what is that ratio rice tea ですね。マリエラさん。これは 50%、この、ね。
私の今回のやつは 50%、50%。50-50。
50-50。tea and rice。
これは、私は 50% ですけど、例えば作ってるお茶農家さんとかお茶屋さんによっては比率は多分違うと思います。
So it might be different depending on the tea farmer, but in case of Hattori-san, he uses 50-50.
そっか、これどこで買えますかっていうことなんですけど。
2パターン、私のところに来ていただくか、オンラインも作ってるんですけど、まだちょっと初めて作って間もないので、対応できるかどうかは不明ですが、もしあれば問い合わせてください。
So we know you have a question of where to find Hattori-san's tea. So he says there are two ways. First is to come to his tea farm in Shiga. So if you can, please do. But he also started an online shop. So he just recently started. He doesn't know if it's all working okay and if he can send the tea to all of you. But if you're interested, please send him a message and he will try.
私オンラインの場合はジャパニーズティーマラソンっていうふうにキーワードを打ってもらわないとちょっと迷惑メールと勘違いしちゃうかもしれない。キーワードティーマラソン。
So if you contact him, please mention Japanese tea marathon, so it doesn't go into the junk mail.
じゃあ、そうね、も
うあっという間ですね。
あっという間でしたね。So time passed so fast ね。
たくさんの質問ありがとうございます。
ね。So almost we have only 10 minutes today. So we have a little information for tomorrow じゃないな、day after tomorrow and our future ですね。And from global Japanese tea side ね、for Japanese tea marathon ですね。And after that, Hattori さん gives us final message ですね。最後の山田です。ちょっと待ってくださいね。そうなんですよ。今日皆さんに何か質問とかあります？そういえば。それしてなかったですよね。
最初のこの朝蒸し煎茶、個人的にというかちょっと濃いめと感じた人が多いかどうかがすごい気になりますね。日本人はすごく旨味を重視するんですけど、皆さんどうでしたか
？So his question is about the first sencha. So what do you feel the taste? He is a little bit worried about the taste. It's a little bit thicker. So because of umami flavor っていうのかな。で、あと、要はちょっと濃いめに入れたからっていうこともあるから。
濃いめに感じたかどうかですね。美味しく感じられたかどうかですよね。ちょっと味覚が多分地域によって違うので。
Do you feel it's delicious or not? ね。Please let us know.
もう正直に喋ってくださ
い。in honesty ね。はい。
Please tell him what you think.
はい。お願いします。
準備できましたか？
While we wait for your comment, just the last bits for today. Just a quick reminder, we don't talk about us so much, but again, Global Japanese Tea Association, one of the organizers of the marathon, with a mission to spark new growth in the Japanese tea world through global collaboration. So bringing us all together, exchanging and connecting. And our activities are based on 3 pillars, try to answer all of the challenges that we see that Japanese tea is facing. So information sharing, education, and community. We are really glad to hear from a lot of you saying that you learn a lot from the marathon. So this is our goal, to show Japanese tea, to make it more open, to share the information. And of course, the marathon is very condensed. Now we have 15 days, but through our general activities, we try to do that as well. So releasing monthly newsletters with the information in English, sharing all of that, and also organizing education programs that would help the cement of what we are covering right now. So we're a little bit sporadic. We go to one region, to another region, but basically to kind of summarize and give the consistent image of Japanese tea, we can have these education programs. So maybe you will be interested. The short one is Japanese Tea Foundation and Japanese Tea Intermediate course. So originally in person, but now organized online, 2-hour sessions over 4 weeks. The coming courses are in September next month. So foundation course will start on the 10th of September, and intermediate course will start on the 9th of September. So if you're interested, please have a look. You can still register. Some places are open. And right now we are doing this online, but mainly pushed by the pandemic. But once we pass through the pandemic, we want to organize them in person, and with a huge support from our tea catalysts. So our most experienced members will be taking up this role to teach these courses in hopefully every major city, recently starting with the Netherlands, Belgium, and Spain, but we hope to increase the locations as well. So if you're interested, we can also pass the contacts, how to find them, and we will let you know more information when the schedule is decided. And lastly is the Japanese tea master course, so the most intensive program. We are now talking about all of this, about Japanese tea, but this is really get here and get your hands into tea, into all the production, so hand picking, hand drawing, factory production, attending ceremonies, observing the culture and all of that by being here, being immersed in tea for 2 weeks. It has paused now for 2 years, unfortunately, because Japan closed the borders, the pandemic is all around us, but hopefully from next year we can start again, and we will announce the dates once decided. And the starting point of all of these activities is our membership program. So the numbers are growing every day. We are so glad we showed, I think the slide maybe 5 days ago, it was 300 and a half, and now we are over 400 members from 50 countries. So we're really glad to see the interest in Japanese tea and feeling the passion to join together. And we are really, really grateful to our pioneer members. So yesterday we had the registration from 100 pioneer member. We gathered 100 pioneer members. We are so grateful. Beyond words, I think we cannot express that you believe in what we do, you believe in Japanese tea, you enjoy it, and we want to create it together. So if others are still thinking about it, we do invite you to join, to come closer. There are a few different ways, of course, the Tea Buddy, the free program, where you can stay in the loop, hear the news, what is happening with Japanese tea, and the more proactive way is the Tea Fellow. Where you can be part of the dedicated social space, attend regular member gatherings, currently online, but in future we hope we can do this also in person or organize more events in person, and a small gratitudes and discounts for the events and courses that people can enjoy. So if you felt the connection with us, with what we do invite you to join. It's sharing the QR code and the URL. Either way you can find it, or just Googling as well, it will work. So we do invite you to join, and we hope our community will keep growing, and we will be able to bring Japanese tea to the next future, to the new future, all together.
Create future together. Spread Japanese tea circle to the world.
Yes. And right now, the biggest project, the biggest activity is the Japanese tea marathon. We are all still running, all Japanese tea athletes. So much strength everyone has showed. We have heard that many of you are attending every day. This is more than we expected. We thought maybe you will join one day here, one day there, but a lot of you are following the whole adventure, so we are really, really moved by it as well. And now to talk what is coming next. So day 11, one notice, it is not tomorrow. So tomorrow we have a break, and then we meet in 2 days, which is going to be Wednesday in Japan. So in 2 days time is going to be our day 11 in Mie. And it is still very much in a close-by area, neighboring with Shiga and Kyoto and Nara, so that kind of cluster. So we will be learning about the tea regions there. And Mie also is known for tea. It's a large tea producer, so we will meet with Nakamori-san, who will introduce his kabusecha, so also very known and famous from Mie. And we will try his isebocha as well, so learn more about Isecha, the local brand in Mie. So this is what we have coming, and we hope you will join us in 2 days. Please come back again.
Yay! Japanese tea marathon! Alright. じゃあ、today's final message.
2時間ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much for spending 2 hours together.
個人的にお茶は楽しんで作ってますので、皆さんも、いろんなお茶とか、いろんな茶器とかで飲み比べてみて、好きなように堅苦しくなく飲んでもらって、楽しくお茶を飲んでもらえると農家としては一番嬉しいので、これからもよろしくお願いします。
Hattori-san is having a lot of fun, a lot of joy making the tea, so he hopes that you will try different teas from different areas in Japan and you will enjoy them. So don't feel stressed about tea and have fun with tea. And he doesn't say that, but pick his tea as well.
ありがとうございます。Thank you so much.
またお会いしましょう。
はい。ドローンですね。
ドローン。 忍者 says ドローン。
ドローンバイバイ
See you again.
See you again.
Bye.
しきちゃん、そうくん、また見てたんやな。ありがとう。
ありがとうございました。
バイバイ。